feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Saturday Night Vibe, the progressive news show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon Clyburn, along with Tracy Carson, Theos Robinson, and Anna Hart. And we're decided to do this is the last Saturday Night Vibe for 2022, but it's our reward show. And
Award show.
our reward show
Okay.
for videos and stories and things like that there. The best of, the worst of. Unfortunately, I was the one who had to make the decision on it because I forgot to send out the voting for it, but I think I did a pretty good job, so we'll see. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Welcome to the first edition of Saturday Night Vibe 2024. Again, my name is Marlon, along with Theos, along with Anna Hart. And as you can see from the confused look, what the show is about, we are going to review the award winners from 2022. I can tell you off the bat, don't give me that confused look. I keep telling you to go read the title. It's been up there all 2 days or something. But we're going to review it because I had an epiphany over the holiday season. And it's a surprise for the panel, a surprise for the audience. But I can tell you this, we have added 2 new segments to the show which will be debuted in the second hour. I haven't told anybody else, but that was why I did what I did, because something popped up. I'll explain all of this to you in the second hour. Um, Other than that, it's not too many changes. Um, Not really. I really hope that everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend, days, however you celebrated it, with family, with friends, with yourself. I'm not into that New Year's resolution thing, but if you into it, more power to you. My New Year's resolution every year was to just do better than I did the year before, and then I keep moving. So that was always my New Year's resolution. Um, Diz, how is everything going? Happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, good tidings to all. Uh, yeah, it was pretty good, man. Well, it was a mixed bag. Really, it was a mixed bag. So, good Christmas overall. Family's good overall. Unfortunately, my brother-in-law passed away officially on Christmas Day.
Mm.
Um,
I'm so
and
sorry.
we started the new year off on funeralizing him. But it was a really good service. He was an amazing brother. And yeah, overall, you know, all I can say is cancer sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, could say that again. Anna Hart,
Oh,
how
oh,
are you doing?
but our United Core is almost official. Hope to have a
Yay!
big update for that within the next, week or two. Let Georgia do what it does, and then get started.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Anna Hart, how's everything
Congratulations.
going? And I'm going to be nicer to you than anybody else because you're going to be miserable by the end of this show. But go ahead, honey. How's everything?
I'm fine. Really, I'm fine. No, I had a wonderful holiday break. Had my nephew and brother over quite a bit, and um, on a couple days after solstice, we all got together, and it was um a pared back celebration. Let's say the boys are used to a little bit more than they got, and yet everybody was still just wonderfully going with it. I was very proud of them.
Good. Tracy says she is on the way.
Yeah,
Parker is happy after 3 weeks. Oh, it's been 3 weeks, it's been 2 weeks, or something
it's
like
kind
that.
of two and a half,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you
three.
could say. Yeah, guess you could literally say 3 weekends. But
Yeah,
Parker said, "I'm so sorry, Theas." Yeah.
yeah.
So without further ado,
Thank you, sir.
let's get this party started. Okay, well, the first change that I can tell you from the 2022 show to the 2023 show is there is no overlap. All the categories are completely and utterly different, except maybe one, and I'll explain that to you later. But yeah, what we gave awards for in 2023, we did not give in 2022. All the categories was different except for maybe one. Um, which I'm gonna give you a heads up. I'm probably gonna be apologizing for that, but it's growth on me that I know I made a mistake titling one of them. So anyway, we're going to start off with awards. Number one was the biggest argument on the show, which I'm assuming was the story that caused the biggest controversy to the panel on this show. And we're going to see if there are any changes in our thoughts and our beliefs and our takes and, and what we would do and what we wouldn't do. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Ooh, you look at that. On my end, the whole song played. Wow. Cool. Been a while since I did that. Anyway, so for biggest argument we've ever had on the show, the winner is.
To start, my ex and I were 19 when she got pregnant. We had recently broken up, and she found out a couple of weeks later that she was pregnant. She said that she planned to get an abortion, but she only wanted her sister there. So I was always under the belief that she had aborted. She only contacted me once saying that it was done, and we didn't speak again. Fast forward 19 years later, I found out a month ago that that was a lie. My ex passed away 3 years ago, and my daughter, Kara, has been living with her uncle. He was the one to reach out to give me a heads up after she expressed an interest in wanting us to connect. He and I spoke at length because I was feeling some pretty strong emotions like rage for never being told about her. My ex had backed out of the abortion, but didn't want me involved because we were broken up, so she decided just not to tell me. But he told me that Kara doesn't know about that. Apparently, my ex told Kara that I wasn't ready for fatherhood because we were both so young, so I bailed. I couldn't believe it. Rob, her uncle, told me he knows his sister was wrong for that, but promised me that Kara doesn't have any negative feelings towards me, and that my ex never painted me as some villain, just a young guy who knew that he couldn't properly care for her. He asked me not to tell Kara this when we talk if she asks because it could hurt the way she saw her mom. I never actually confirmed that I would. Kara messaged me and we've been talking. I've met her twice, and it's been crazy emotional. I look at this girl who looks just like me, and it hurts that we're just barely getting to know each other. So far, our conversations have only been about what her life was like, how my life is, what her wants and future goals are, and getting to know each other. We met again Tuesday, and she finally decided to ask the obvious questions about what made me not want to be involved. She asked how I felt, what went through my mind, did I ever think about her, etc. I had been thinking about what to do in that moment, and I just didn't have it in me to lie, so I was honest. I told her that I was told about the abortion, that I had no idea that she even existed until now, but that I really want to be in her life and have the chance to be her father, if she wants that. Kara was a bit emotional, we talked some more, and she said that she still wants me involved. That night, my phone was blowing up. Not just from Rob, but from her grandparents as well. They're all outraged for telling Kara about her mom because she yelled at all of them and is refusing to even take their calls. Yes, the lie was terrible, but I just ruined the image that she had of her late mother for my own benefit. Rob called me a selfish dick for not taking into consideration how this would affect Kara finding out about all this. So right now I feel like garbage. I get that honesty is the best policy, but in this case, I don't know if I was the butthole for doing it. I'm still learning this whole dad business, so I don't know if I dropped the ball here.
My
Okay.
opinion has not changed.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would. Mine did slightly. The one new thing that me and I'm gonna say that we was gonna do going forward in the shows is take notes of things that keep our mind. I've been looking at some of our old shows, and even sometimes I look at it and go, Marlon, what the heck are you talking about? So I don't want to do that no more. So I'm writing down things when I listen to the stories. So here's my deal. One question I did have listening to this story was the girl mad because was the girl mad because basically she was lied about this from her family the whole time? Let's eliminate the abortion part of it. Let's take that part of the story out. and just answer that question. That you flat out said your father just wasn't ready to be a father. Thus, this is the reason why he wasn't in your life. And the mother had that lie for years, used that lie for years, and the family connected to that lie and used that lie for years. So, without knowing that, I think the family is wondering, is the daughter mad because, oh, you could have been aborted? Or is she mad because, hey, why would you lie and use this lie all my life instead of just telling me the truth? So that was the question that I had. Now, the part that I did change my mind on is going where this is, but things I have to say that in itself is a slippery slope too. I would have explained to the daughter, yes, I didn't know that I didn't even know you existed. I just didn't know, but now that I know that you're here, let's be friends, let's build a relationship together, and everything other than skipping over the abortion part. Here's where I'm having a small issue with, though.
Why
If
can't
she
we
does
be
find out
friends?
about the abortion part, guess what? Now she has not only her family, not only her mother, who she can't talk to, but now she can't even trust her dad, her new dad that just came into her life. So, it's a chance you take. Hey, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Pretty hair Tracy in the house.
Tracy, your birthday is over. Birthday's over, Tracy. Tracy, birthday's over.
Her birthday ain't over till she says it's over. But those are my only notes on it. Is that you he got caught off guard. Lord have mercy.
Lord of mercy.
Tracy, you wear that crown. Wear that crown. It's
But
your
I can't
birthday, girl.
I can't figure out how to get it with my headset on. So
Oh,
okay.
okay.
You better not move too fast. That's all I'm saying. Wow.
Man.
But anyway, go ahead, Theus. I know nothing changed, but go ahead and you remember what your point of view was.
I think my point of view was a matter of, yeah, the mom should have done it differently. Hindsight 2020, blah 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 blah. But she is deceased, and it does not benefit this child in any way to let her know that she was slated to be aborted. Like, you could have told your whole story. You could have advocated for yourself. You could have said that you didn't know, which is a true statement. You could have done all of these things, but the aborted part, which you said we're not going to focus on, but I'm like, to me, it's just super integral to the entire situation, because if you were deprived of the opportunity to be a father to your child, and here is your opportunity to connect, and you were dealt a bum hand. Okay, cool, I get that. Um, how does it benefit your child that you want to establish a relationship with? And especially, I mean, now this is my view of fatherhood, which is we are protectors. So if I'm going to be a protector, because being a protector does not require agreement or acquiescence. Like, I decide I'm a protector. You're my child. That's what we're going to do, right? You don't even have to accept it. So if that is the frame, how are you protecting your child to say something that can only hurt? It can only hurt. So I just that's that part that just is like, dude, you did that for you, right? That was all about you, and I don't like that.
You're on mute,
We can't
Marlon.
hear you. I think you're muted.
Sorry. I wonder how it was said. I
It doesn't
wonder.
matter how it's said. You were almost going to be aborted.
No, no,
You were
no,
almost
no,
going to be aborted. It pains me,
no.
but you
Wait a
were
minute. Hold
almost going to
on.
be
Hold
aborted.
on. No, I'm saying, did he say you were supposed to be aborted and the next thing I know, blah, 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 you here? Or did he say, your mother told me she was going to abort you?
Doesn't matter.
Why would it not matter? Because one way
It
it's saying
doesn't.
what one way is saying that was what was told to me. That's why I wasn't here. The other one was you were supposed to be not here.
Because, okay, so here's the thing. What is the difference to the child of being told the reason why I wasn't present is because I wasn't told that you were born. I had no way of knowing that you were here. Versus the reason why I wasn't present in your life is because your mother said that she was going to abort you. So I had no reason to think that you were here. Right? At the end of the day, what you're conveying is your mother deprived me of the opportunity to engage with you as my child. That's what you're trying to convey. The abortion part is solely self-serving because it doesn't enhance the story, right? Either way, you were not told that your child was here. I don't know. I mean, I could be on an island with this one, but I just don't think that is saying it has any added benefit.
Well, the kid already knew that the father knew the mother was pregnant. Yeah, so to say I didn't know you existed, that's not true because the mother did say, "Oh yeah, he was here and knew I was pregnant with you."
Right. And that's a fair point, but the abortion still doesn't help anything.
It sure doesn't.
It just doesn't help anything. Like, okay, so your mother was pregnant and then she chose not to allow me to be involved. And whatever story she spun, baby, that's not true. If I had just had the opportunity to be here, I would have been here. But I wasn't afforded that opportunity. There's so many ways to still convey that had you had the knowledge and opportunity, you would have stepped up because nothing means more to you than being a father to your child. You can convey that so many different ways without saying, well, we tried to kill you before you got here, and none of this would have mattered. Like, it just, and I
I
know abortion advocates to say that you were trying to kill them is not the most apropos term, but it fits in this
It
scenario. It fits.
does.
So whatever.
I just don't know how you could. How do you explain that? I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't paying attention. How do you explain? I knew your mother was pregnant. Because then it comes off as, okay, so then you decided not to be in my life?
We lost contact, and your mother did not
You
afford me
lost
the
contact.
opportunity.
So you lost contact of my mom who was pregnant with me.
Yes, happens all the time, and unfortunately, none
Especially
of
when a
this is
mother doesn't
gonna.
want to be found.
Yeah, and
It
unfortunately, none of this is
happens.
gonna be neat and clean, and
Yeah.
and and it's just not. Like, there's emotions are gonna be running high on all sides of the equation. You're never going to have closure on this. So my point is work on building from the pieces you have as opposed to throwing that last little jab that serves no added benefit. I mean, it benefits you as a storyteller because it tries to paint you in a better light. But in so doing, you have now confused a child who never probably thought that there was any reason to think that she wasn't wanted, and you besmirched a deceased person who can't defend themselves. It just doesn't help.
All right. Do anybody got anything else?
Not really.
All right, let's move on to the next story. My humble apologies. There is a big maturity growth between 2022 and present time 2024. Well, not really 2023 into 2022, whatever. There's a big growth in me because I named this story "Nut Job of the Year." I'm a huge advocate of mental health. I don't want to use that word because, especially the first story, is straight up. I renamed it "Mentally Unstable of the Year." And by the way, just in case anybody want to know, that title is never coming back again. Like, that is not going to be a reward. And I know I did something similar last year, award show. I did something similar, but as you can see, the difference between there is some mental unstabilization with this person, and then there is, okay, something wrong with you, and I don't know if you just so entitled or you just so, I don't know. There's one that you need some really deep psychological help, which is what this first story is, and the other one, hmm, hmm, I
Keep dancing on these eggshells, Marlon. You're gonna cut your toe.
no, the second story will explain this. Will explain itself why I just can't say what I really want to say. So, anyway, let's get to the first story. I apologize in advance again. I did use the word "nut job." That's the old Marlon, not the new Marlon. I have changed my views on this. So please don't email me going, "Oh my God, I can't believe." Somebody fell asleep.
No, it sounded like a dryer.
Yep, that was my dryer.
Oh,
I thought it was the
See, you can see
construction
Tracy.
company.
You can tell which one of us don't do their own laundry.
I do my own laundry.
That's
Literally,
My dryer does not sound like that.
mine don't either. But I ain't hating it because it's nice to have a dryer in the house anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, day's over. Ooh. Anyway, first story. All right, let's move on to the nut job of the year. And fortunately or unfortunately, as you want to take it, it was a tie because I couldn't figure out. I just couldn't figure out which one of these was just like, yeah, something wrong with y'all. So for tie number one,
Some friends several years before my wife and I started dating. The date was in early September, and we met in a restaurant in the city. It was a nice place, the kind where waitstaff wear dress shirts, ties, etc. I was in a nice suit and tie, and she showed up in jeans, flip-flops, and a hoodie. I jokingly said something along the lines of, "I'm assuming they didn't tell you this place is kinda snooty." She says, "They did. I just don't give an F. I'm not shaving my legs and putting on some fancy dress for some guy who I don't even know if I want to touch his dick, let alone if I'm willing to let him between my legs." I just stared at her in disbelief. She then said, "I mean, you seem nice and all, but I'm not in the mood to do all the work when I can just go home and do it myself." I asked her to keep her voice down, and she said, "Why do you want me to keep my voice down? Are you afraid people will hear me talking about going home and effing myself with my vibrator instead of letting you come back home and F me?" I just stood up, walked over to the waiter, paid for my drink, apologized to them for her outburst, and said, "Blind date, I am not sticking around," and left. I did hear from my friends that she later got married to some guy, stabbed him on their anniversary a few years later, and is now in jail for attempted murder. They were like, "Yeah, we always knew she was kinda crazy." Yeah, effing think? And then down in the comments, OP shares some more information.
Yes, she stabbed her husband. Stabbed, not poked, stabbed. Yeah, she was pretty, but not worth that level of crazy. The people who set us up are no longer friends of mine. That situation was part of the falling out. Also, they became completely insufferable twits. They didn't know that she was that level of crazy. They thought that she was just whiny or pushy at times and outspoken. This woman stabbed her husband about 20 times with one of those small handheld gardening shovels. It was their 1-year anniversary. She's still in prison. The husband eventually got out of the hospital, went through rehab, and moved out of the state. Last I'd heard, he'd gotten remarried and had kids.
Okay. So, not gonna make jokes about this. Not even gonna make light of this. It was mentally unstable.
Dude,
What?
look, I am all for being sensitive about mental infirmities and situations, but there are times when shit's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Like,
That,
there's no, you ain't got the. Well, you know, she was
no,
troubled and
no.
blah 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 blah.
I tell you the second. When
No,
I show
this
you the
one
second
fits.
story, you'll understand what I mean by mentally unstable and crazy. Even though I gotta anyway, that's mental. That's mental instability. That woman needs
No,
to have been put in a
see,
room.
mentally unstable to me, mentally unstable is the lady who was climbing in the baby's crib. Mentally unstable is the lady who was nursing a baby that doesn't belong to her. You know, mentally unstable was the one who went kind of goofy talking about, well, y'all could have played with my booty hole or something. Those are all mentally unstable. This woman tried to kill somebody. Okay, you know, at what point do we cut through some of the sensitivities and proclivities and just say, yo, this shit crazy, man?
Okay,
And I
but
hope she
here,
gets the help that she needs.
Mm-hmm.
But we end up losing so much by spending so much time trying not to offend anybody.
I'm not. But
Some
here's my
things you just cut
counterpoint.
to the chase.
Here's my counterpoint. Remember when we did the one about the lady who was trying to nurse her friend's baby? And I always said that story was not over unless she get help, because what she gonna wind up doing is getting attached to somebody else, and then we don't know how far she gonna go to get that other baby and everything
Right.
else. So when you say she's crazy, then you're literally saying that everybody starts off with a mental illness and then goes to crazy. So you're right now saying she's crazy for what she did, stabbing it. Then what was the whole restaurant thing then? Was that mental instability? And then she went crazy?
Yeah, I guess I'll see your point there because yes, what she was doing there is someone who is whatever her issue is. 'Cause we don't know what the issue is. There's so many different things it can be, and for me to armchair quarterback what that was, I don't know, but I do know it was unhealthy. Uh, but left untreated, left unassisted, left undirected, left untreated, it will make its way to crazy. Okay, so all up until then, see, I'm one of the people to look at it like this. It's kind of like when I look at like young people who commit crimes and things like that, right? I believe in intervention. I believe in education. I believe in outpouring of concern and care before it elevates to a crime or something you can't unwind. So once we've hit that particular point, nothing I can do for you. I'm not trying to figure out what happened. I'm not trying to do all those different things. Once you've done the thing, that now defines you. All the stuff before that is where society, family, friends, somebody failed to pick up and engage, and maybe you failed to engage back, so that we could try to get you the help that you need. Like, so what she was doing, acting out on that first date, yo, that's, I don't even know what to call that, because for some people that just could just be really bad manners. Like, it doesn't really mean that she was mentally infirm or infirm. She really could just be really rude, you know.
Right.
um, and then the fact that the friends were like, yeah, she's always been one of them. So that's where you're like, okay, this person probably has some set of needs. Who knows, right? But even then, I'm real leery of going all in on the hug it out thing, because sometimes people, have particular needs and they choose not to try to address them, right?
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
when they're in their fog. When they're in their fog, it's hard to hold a lot of things against them. But when they're in their lucid moments, they choose not to. Ain't nothing I can do for that.
Okay.
You're
Anybody else?
sorry.
I'm with Parker. I blame the friends.
What about your
I
friend?
kind of see that too, because I would kind of want to question them as, why did you think this was a good pick for me? Like, I don't even know. Even if I'll go about what Theus has said, is that, hey, she's an a-hole and she's always been like that. So what is it about me that made you think this was a good pick for me and to go out in public with her? So yeah, I kind of would kind of question my friends, as your judgment is not very good, either about me or about her.
Might be about you, because one of the
Mm-hmm.
things he mentioned was
But
how
she's
attractive she
truly.
is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he may be someone who is largely driven by how attractive the person is. And then unfortunately, sometimes you get things that come with that. Still, the friends kind of, set him up for one on that one, though. But they're
Ah,
not responsible for her behavior.
that did change though. Theus, you did say, why did you blame the friends
Uh,
on the last one? So that did change.
well, I also just didn't know. I also made the caveat that they're not responsible for who she is.
And Tracy's watching football in the background.
Is there still football?
Yeah, it's the last week and then the playoffs.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get into the second story. Now, the second story, like I said, is a little different from the first story. Um, because I was saying that the first story, that woman needs help. The second story, this woman needs something else. All right, we got to keep it going. So here is the second runner up, the tie. And in my opinion, it's just my opinion, one of these favorite stories.
Abs. Hey, I just wanted to talk about yesterday. Hey, go on. I'm a bit busy right now, so just write it out and I'll read it and respond later, alright? If you say so. So, I just want to understand. We go out, have dinner, have a nice walk. We talk, and we obviously liked each other. I invite you over to me and you come along. We talk more, we drink more, and I'm getting nice and drunk. Everything good so far, yes? I'm more drunk than you, and I make it clear I want intercourse, but you wouldn't bang me because I want you to be sober when we have intercourse. The F is wrong with you. I bet if I wasn't such a nice person, you wouldn't have waited a minute to stick your dong in my vajango and bang me. Why does nobody ever wanna bang? And even worse, I already prepared myself for it. I shaved my vajango and even my effing butt to be nice and clean. I shave my legs, I even push an effing plug up my butt to be ready for intercourse, but oh no, drunk sex is not cool anymore. Duh, what an idiot I am, right? Am I that ugly to you? Did my vajango stink all the way up that you got so disgusted with me? You didn't even try to accidentally touch my breast or butt while we were walking. WTF!
Vanessa told me you're a cool dude. Let me guess. Vanessa's a good lay, right? I bet Vanessa got her brains effed out. If I were blonde and effing beautiful as she, you would have immediately licked my vajango and don't even try to deny it. Sluts always get you guys and we never get anything. I hate you and wasted my effing day and got nothing.
So, to finish my statement off, the second story, this woman needs something else. And a lot of it. It's the first hour, so I'm not going to say it, but use your imagination.
She needs self-esteem. What she mean?
Okay, if you want to use self-esteem, sure.
Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. That was a whole lot of.
How many times can she say vajango? Shut up. Oh my gosh.
I mean, like me, for example, and this has been my rule even before I recognized that it was a rule, right? I will not. Oh, well, now I ain't got to worry about it. But I would not deal with a woman who was intoxicated if that was our first encounter. It just was not going to happen.
Yeah, because she could be
Absolutely
like,
not.
he got me drunk.
Yeah.
No.
High, drunk, it don't matter. If that could potentially be one of our first encounters, it doesn't even have to be our first encounter. If it's one of our first encounters, I don't want it. Plus, I don't like unintelligent women. So, like, if you real goofy because you high, like I had a girlfriend once. She had smoked some weed at a party, and I didn't smoke. So she was like real giggly and over the top, and it just really turned me off. Like we had been intimate more than a couple times, but it really turned me off because she seemed dumb to me, right? So I mean, he just might be one of those guys where it's like this is not the opportune way to engage with someone. Another time I had a young lady, we had a great date, wonderful evening, everything went well. Brought her back to my apartment, but she wasn't feeling good. So I gave her some medicine and she falls asleep on my lap. She's mad at me the next day because I ain't do nothing. Hold up, you were on medication. Why the hell would I do something to your snotty self? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird, but that's why you try, trial and error. You date this person, date that person, you find what works for you, what
She
doesn't, and you keep
shaved
it
her
pushing.
vajango. She
And put a
shaved her.
plug up her booty.
And the plug. I'm just saying. And the
So
plug.
overall, she's a winner. But what I'm saying is,
What?
her personality, she needs to find the right guy for her.
Who apparently likes to sleep with
Wait a
drunk
minute.
women that
Wait,
put
what?
plugs up their butt. Yep, that's what she needs.
She needs the right guy for her. She needs the kind of guy that will see through whatever it is that she needs and connect with her on that level. Because there's multiple somebodies that will click with her. And she may find that, well, wait a minute, this person actually connected with me as an individual and deflected my sexual advances because I think sex is the way to connect. And he showed me that there's so much more. And then they can have a wonderful relationship and dance off into the sunlight. But she wanted a freaky deaky, and he didn't want to be freaky deaky. He missed out on a good time, but she probably would have been crazy within 48 hours. Sorry, I used that word that y'all don't like. She probably would have been a whole lot of problems within 48 hours.
Wait a minute. You did.
Parker said, or, hear him out now, or she was mad that you don't remember her last
Her
name.
last name. I'm so mad. I didn't think of that.
She had a hard last name.
Yeah, because Smith is really something else.
Yeah, Jones is a difficult last name.
Smith, Jones, Jackson.
Johnson. All them difficult last names.
See, that's why you should wear a name tag. Wear a name tag on your dates, people. Be kind and considerate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we was going on a field trip, not a date. I'm not wearing
Hey, a date is like a field trip. A date is like a field trip. You find your buddy, and you're responsible for each other's safety, and you eat together, and you take in the sights, and you make sure that you get back at the appointed time.
That is so wrong,
That's
Theus.
a field
You
trip.
shave your legs, your armpit, your vagina, your a hole, and then you plug. That's the steps to a date right there.
Yeah, but what if she ate something? See, here's the thing, right? I need
No,
you to be
no,
able to
no,
pass
no,
gas if
No,
you need to
no,
pass
no,
gas.
no, no,
And
no,
if
Jen,
you got it
no,
all plugged up
no,
like
no,
that,
no,
and then
no, 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 no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
no, no,
I'm sorry.
no.
I'm trying to get used to this new short haircut of mine. I'm not liking it
Looks
at
good to
all.
me.
She
No
went way
problem with it.
scissor happy, and I'm like, nah. I'm gonna have to get some weave.
Oh.
Oh, I like it.
I'm used to it being here. Now it's up to here. I'm like, oh no.
to me it's about the same. So I don't know. I guess I didn't notice how much she
Yep,
lost
it's
with
it's
that.
like
No, I see. She lost. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like I lost a whole another.
What about an inch?
Yeah, but it's making a
A
whole lot of
couple.
difference. Yeah, I'm two,
Ain't
three
no couple
inches.
inches. That's like an inch. Cause I don't. Her hair did not go down to like mid chest. It was like just past her shoulder, and now they got her at it like a bob almost. So I feel you, but I mean, it's nice. But it's your
The
hair, so you
length of your hair
whatever
is
feels
not
comfortable to you.
that big of a
Please.
deal to me as long as it looks good, as long as it looks healthy, as long as it looks, stylish and
I did my
everything like
hair today.
that. But having said that, when you have somebody who's had long hair for the longest period of time and they shorten it, they do feel some type of way.
Isn't it lighter? See, I don't know. I ain't had hair since I was 20 something. I don't know.
I mean,
I
she
cut my
went.
hair
She
2 hours ago.
prepared for that date. I feel sorry for her though because, like, what what makes you want to? And this is me being judgmental, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm being judgmental. You expect a man to get you drunk on the first date and have sex with you, girl? What's wrong with you?
And there's a
She thinks that
pretty
sex
huge
is the way that you connect.
and
Yeah.
there's a
That's the
pretty
worst.
huge
I mean, it's
percentage
a
of
way to
men.
connect. It's a way to connect. Don't get me wrong. But on the first date, like
There's a pretty huge
Ain't nothing
percentage
wrong
of
the first day.
men who would have took
she
advantage of
wants
that
him to get
same
her
situation.
drunk.
Yep,
She said I was good and drunk.
yep,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she
yep,
wants sex, and y'all don't see nothing wrong
yep.
with it.
I
No, I
mean, I
didn't say
look at
that
it
there's
like
nothing
this.
wrong with it. I just said
For
there's a
us, it's not
pretty
the
I don't
right.
think there's anything wrong with it. I think that if you have decided as an adult that you want to have sex on the first date, then you do so. I mean, there's
No, it's
nothing right
the
or wrong about it. Her
it's not
problem
the
is
yeah.
that she was mad at him for not believing the same thing and acting on it.
that was
She
Like
the
she
issue.
made
wanted him
herself
to get her.
vulnerable on purpose.
Yeah, she got
There's
drunk.
a huge percentage of men who would have took advantage of exactly what it is that she wanted. A huge percentage of it. She just happened to
Yeah, I
hook
would
up
say
with the one guy who
99%.
did not believe in that. I mean, that's it.
I would say
She did not believe. He did
99%.
not.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Ain't no 99%.
I
It
would
ain't
say
no
Stop, stop
99%.
99%.
male
It's no,
bashing. Stop
99%.
male
no,
That's not
bashing.
male.
Come
no.
on.
That's not male
You have
bashing.
no, you have the lowest estimation of the
That
male
is
gender.
crazy.
It is, come on.
Nope.
I'd have looked at you
You
strange
know
on
what?
50%. You went
Because the
99.
queen has spoken.
You can't even keep it on your head, so you ain't the queen now. No.
I would say 90, a good 99%. I mean,
Okay.
you gotta throw away the gay men.
You
You
got the
gotta throw them out
1%
the.
then.
You gotta throw them out because they not gonna sleep with women no way.
That's not true. There are gay men who deal with straight women as their quote unquote beard so
Yep.
that they can pass and not deal with the stigma of their
Mhm.
sexual identity. So there's a lot of gay men who will have sex with a straight woman on occasion just so they can pass. Been a problem for
Y'all
a
think
long
that
time.
y'all think that the story was real. I thought it was too over the top with
It's
the
gotta be
sexual.
false. There's no way I'm gonna sit here and say, "Let me get drunk so I can have sex." What
I think it's real.
the heck?
I
I
think it's
think
real.
it's real
It's real.
because she thinks that sex is an intimate connection,
It
Hmm.
is.
and she thinks that making herself available will make him more attached.
That's wrong.
And she purposely made herself vulnerable so that it would be easier for him to do said thing.
And did
Like
she have
there's
to?
a whole pathological pathway that a lot of women it have adopted. Like it's not right. It's not all that rare. Um, there's any variety of reasons why a woman can get to that point, and men can get to that point, but usually it's less active for men, um, unless it's like in the gay situation. But there's a lot of ways you can end up there. It's a lot of ways. Especially if you were introduced to sex in a non-romantic manner at an early age. So now you misinterpret what physical affection actually is. So
That
those things can happen too.
crossed my mind. Yeah.
She shaved. She didn't have to go. Why she had to go into all them details? Why did she
She
have to
didn't.
go
Yeah,
into
she was
all
a
them
little extra.
She
details?
didn't
I'm
have
like,
to, but then
she really.
again,
She
you're
could have
not.
just said, "I made preparations for the date," and just ended it right there. No,
But
she
she
had to.
wanted him to
Yeah.
understand
Just want him to
how much
understand.
she put herself out.
Yep.
But she didn't have to say she put a plug in her butt. Like what?
But Tracy, I'm gonna say this
What
real
you're
quick.
missing?
I'm gonna say this real quick so we can move on. We're talking from reading this hilarious Reddit story instead of putting ourselves in
Wasn't hilarious.
well, you know what I mean. It's supposed to be ha ha hilarious, and I just whatever. I picked it last year, so I can't help myself. But then again, I said growth. God's not through with me yet. But my point is, there are people who were brought up different ways. Their beliefs are different ways. Their styles of living are different ways. Some of them may be crazy as crap to us. I get it, but it's crazy as crap to you because you was raised a different way. Your beliefs are different. You know, so why did she yeah, we could probably look at that now, but that's not how she brought up, how she may not have been brought up. Her
And
thought
it doesn't
process
make it
may have
right
been
or
brought
wrong.
up. You got a problem, you lay it all on the table. And
And it doesn't make it right or wrong. And it could very well be wrong. Like I think in this scenario it's wrong because it's not going to positively affect her.
Yeah,
Like
there's
in the
something
long run,
deeper
it
going
doesn't
on.
serve her by putting herself in a vulnerable position to people who aren't caretakers of that vulnerability, right? So she can only continue if she continues on this path, she's going to get hurt more often than she'll be rewarded, right?
Right.
So in that case, I would say it's wrong. But if it's more of she moves in a social circle or she's in a dating pool that's just how you roll, then it's not wrong. It's just consenting adults doing what they do. The problem here is it's a mismatch. These two people did not match. So you ended up with this particular issue, you know.
And people
But
do, yeah, made my whole expectation. I'm too
she
busy
sound a
chasing.
lot better than them pillow princesses, I'll tell you that.
What?
A pillow princess.
I don't
I don't
know
know what
what
that
that
is.
means.
What's a pillow
A pillow
princess?
princess is someone that they literally just lay there. Like they're not an active participant in the
Oh,
experience. They're too precious to do anything dirty or actually engage. They just you know for those who don't like that sucks. So
Let me guess.
she's
You're one of those that don't like that because boy, your whole
not a big fan
attitude
of the pillow
changed.
princess. That's true. But I'm also not a big fan of the super freaky dinky, right? So it's like I'll be as freaky as you need to be, but if you too far out there, I'm like, like once again, back in college, I had a young lady who got mad at me because I wouldn't role play rape with her. No, not gonna do it.
You
Not
wouldn't do
gonna do
what?
it.
You wouldn't do what?
Role play forced sexual encounter,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've heard.
and
Okay, that I do know
that
of.
was
I'm like,
that's her kink, and I was like, no, that ain't me.
no, you
you
just
knock yourself
participate.
out there, buddy. Nope. There's not a role play that even remotely put me in the danger of being arrested and my life destroyed forever.
Yeah, yeah. Don't need no misunderstandings here. Nope.
Nope.
Plus, it just
Nope.
doesn't interest me. It just doesn't interest me. Like,
And I wouldn't know what to do. Anyway, let's go ahead and go to the last
Yeah, y'all
story
telling too
before
much
the hour
about
is up.
yourselves that we do not
but
know
this young
about.
lady seemed like a winner. I'm just playing.
Anyway, we're gonna go to the last story. which I'm surprised I didn't do it this year, and maybe I will bring it back. Good story of the year.
Just to end the hour off, the best story of the year.
Baby, I be
It ain't the grandmama that kidnapped her. Yeah.
She didn't kidnap her. She did not kidnap him.
attempted crime is still a criminal.
Fake. Yesterday, I walked from my store to my car through the mall. There was a special needs kid that was walking next to me. I was wearing a dark blue V-neck t-shirt and my thick Clark Kent glasses. Hair was dark from the product in it and was firmly in place except for the little spit curl on my forehead. He kept pace and I said hello. He had to ask me something. He leaned in close and whispered, "Are you Superman?" I chuckled a little bit. "Thanks, kid. No." His face remained dead serious. "I won't tell anyone," he said. "You're very nice. Thank you. I'm not, though. Superman isn't And this kid had this look on his face. "I won't tell anyone. I promise. I swear." I'm an emotional guy, so I was getting a little choked up. "We are not supposed to talk about secret identities, kid. It can get dangerous." And he starts enthusiastically nodding in agreement. I know. When I was almost to the doors, I turned back and took my glasses off and put my finger up to my lips and went, "Shh." And as best as his limbs would let him, he gave me a thumbs up. I've been welling up thinking about it for about 24 hours now. Thought I was crazy until I told Shanna last night and she had the same reaction. 100% totally true story, and despite his disadvantages in life, perceived and real, I thank that kid for being a superhero yesterday.
Now, there's a reason why I'm the only person up on stage right now. We have been getting a lot of views over the years, and I've gotten a lot of emails of when you're coming back, when you're coming back, when you're coming back. So we're getting new viewers. And I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much. So I want to introduce you all to the personalities that we have on this show. And one of the personalities is Thiz, who is the only person on the face of the planet who could take a sweet story and somehow turn it around to a Dr. Spock moment and make it logical.
And he could have also said, "No, I'm not Superman."
And that's disgusting.
And broke that poor child's heart.
No.
Because the funny thing about it was he was about to.
He told the
No.
child
What he almost did was say that Superman wasn't real. That's wrong. But what he could have said was, let me let you in on a little secret. "I'm not Superman, but I thought I was his biggest fan until I met you. I dress this way because that's how much I love Superman too." You could, right? There's ways you can still do it. I don't care. He did it the right way. It's not the wrong way. I'm just saying that he could have done it a different way. I'm good either way.
Man, Leary took a whole.
How he gonna take a positive story and then just twisted it?
Anna, how did I twist the story?
I didn't say twist it. You just made it logical.
I said twist it.
Sweet story.
It was a nice little
leave the
story.
alone.
He told the child he was a superhero.
If you wanted me to leave the story alone, you wouldn't have played the story.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear Spot Robinson is in the house here. So that was the best story of the year last year. I'm surprised I didn't do it this year, and I am thinking about bringing that back. So
this is 2024, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you keep saying last year. I'm like, no, last year was a different set of people.
Oh, sorry. 2022. 2022.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about bringing that as an award for 2024 again.
Most heartfelt story. Good luck finding too many of those in your Reddit trash bin of human depravity and filth.
You still got the grandma kidnapping somebody, so why would anybody listen to you? And that's been a 3-year-old story now.
She was wrong. Yeah, it was neat to find out that 2 years ago I was still talking about old evil granny.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is our first hour of the show. We will return with our brand new segment, the Mafia video of the week, and of course, Foxy video of the week. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we will see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I always stay dreaming, never imagine I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground. I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Higher to a bird. You, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free.
We are back, and of course, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and pay those dues. As of course, Radical Truth to Power is back tomorrow, 2024. Radical Truth to Power, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go support Tracy at buymeacoffee.com/Tracy Media LLC. Support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. And I nailed that first 2024.
Yep, and don't be mad when I go back to Patreon, but that's okay. You did
Now, well, that was my next next announcement, Tracy, there are going to be a lot of changes to that thing in 2024. Theus has a project coming up. Tracy has a project coming up. Anna has a project coming up. I'm the only one who don't have a project coming up, but I'm the one who has to announce all the projects that are coming up. So this will probably be the last time I'll probably be saying this by March at least. Maybe April, that I'll be adding a whole new different list to it. All the bill paying that we got to do around here. So y'all need to watch this show, like, share, subscribe, but please hit that notification bell because when anything new comes out, I will be announcing it. Because every project that's in the works is to not only help us, but to stand out and help a lot of people. So y'all stay tuned for that. Now, here is the new segment, and I'm going to tell you why I put this segment on. During the holiday season, I was trying to put on a bunch of shows, do reruns and things like that. And some of the shows I had to monitor, just to make sure we don't have any trolls or anything that comes through, which thanks a lot. Nobody did. Thank you. But I was probably drunk on somebody else's platform making their life. So thank you for that too. But as I was looking through some of the shows, I was like, oh, wow, I remember that. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, that was, and it was some stuff that we did in the past that was just laughable and we're cracking up and we just enjoyed ourselves. So I was thinking, why don't I create a whole new segment called Remembering the Past. We are literally going on 5 years, over 1,000 videos. And we have grown over the years. Our thought process, our beliefs have changed over the 4 years. And it has. You just don't want to admit it because you changed on what of. So I want to start having a segment where we look back on some of the segments that we talked about and see if these have changed. If our thoughts are exactly the same, and the funny thing about it is, it may not have changed at all, but it may be a point where you go, "Ooh, but I wish I would have said this too," or they was kind of confused at what I was saying, so if I changed it to say this, then I'd have got my point across. Give you the opportunity. Now that is the front page of why I'm doing it. The back page, it's getting harder and harder to find segments for the other ones. So yeah, let me go ahead and do this too. Tomorrow there's gonna be a second new segment on the show for the same reason. I'm finding it harder and harder to find stuff. So here is our first Remembering the Past story.
Let's get into Am I the A-hole, in which I am going to fully admit that I was absolutely wrong. I misspelled the crap out of that for the longest freaking time.
I was just going by, wow, that's a cool intro, but I thought I was going to see some nakedness when it came back.
No. And I like that music. I actually have to pay for that, so I'm not going to redo that.
That's good. I like it.
We were supposed to have one of those, at the end of the song.
Anyway, am I the a-hole?
My wife and I have a 2-year-old son, and we've been married for 4 years. Our anniversary was a month ago, and we found a nice, secluded cabin on Airbnb and rented it out for a long weekend getaway. My wife asked her parents if they would be willing to watch our son, and they agreed as long as we dropped him off at their house. That worked out for us since it was on our way anyways. I was raised Lutheran and my wife was raised Catholic, but neither of us currently goes to church and we haven't had our son baptized. My mother-in-law knows this and hates it. She thinks that our son needs to be baptized or he'll burn in hell. She's that kind of Catholic. So we go on our trip, and when we pick up our son and ask how the weekend went, my mother-in-law said everything went fine and that she saved my son's soul from the devil. I asked her what she meant by that, and she says that she had our son baptized that morning at her church. I tried my best to keep my cool so I didn't scream at my mother-in-law in front of my son, but I pretty much grabbed my son and left. On the car ride home, I was fuming and told my wife as calmly as I could that this would be the last time her parents have our son unsupervised. She tried to downplay what her mom had done, but I told her we need to wait until we get home to talk about it because I'm not fighting in front of my kid. When we got home and had a chance to talk about it, things got heated. I told my wife that I no longer trust her parents with our son, and if they did something like this behind our backs, then I can't trust them to respect our wishes as parents in the future. I said this was a huge breach of trust, and I will forever look at her mom differently. She continued to try to defend her mom, saying that she was only doing what she thought was best for her grandson. She even downplayed it, saying it was just a little water and a few words, and we don't go to church anyway, so what does it matter? I told her that under no circumstances will I allow her parents to watch our son by themselves again. I said that we can still let them see their grandson, but only if we're present. I also said that if she doesn't see what the big deal is with the situation, that maybe we aren't on the same page as parents, and maybe we need to go see a counselor. She started crying and said that this isn't the kind of decision I get to make on my own, and I'm a butthole for trying to tell her what kind of relationship her parents can have with our son. I told her that I no longer have any trust or respect for her parents, and that I don't know if there's anything they can do to repair that. I told her I don't care if that makes me a butthole, but what her parents did was unforgivable in my eyes, and they put themselves in this position to lose privileges with our son. She's been trying to convince me to change my mind for the last month, but I'm not budging. To me, this is a hill that I'm willing to die on.
I think my position may have changed.
I don't remember what my position is, but let me explain something real quick and then I'll hand it over to you. So for anybody that's confused about what I said at the beginning about I had this role for the longest time, am I the a-hole? I don't know how I spelled it, but it didn't come out was am I the a-hole? I don't know what it was.
It was I the ass.
I am the a-hole. So I argued with Anna and Tracy for the longest time. Oh no, that's it. No, I spelled it right. No, that's right. And everything else. And then one day, I don't even know what it was. One day I may have looked at a live show just to see if there's some changes that I need to make. And I looked at it and went, the hell did I say? Oh no. Oh no. So that was
it was instead of the A, you had an I. I'm I, the a-hole.
So that was to explain what the first part of it. Diz, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go with what your change was. So,
well, I don't remember my original position, but I can imagine what it would have been, and I won't be a big departure from it. But now I can see kind of like where the wife is coming from a lot more. So, like, yes, betrayal of trust. Okay, but I would ask him: is it that you are anti-religion, or is it that you are just not religious? Because there is a difference. So if he's not religious, then what the grandparents did it was a betrayal of trust because they overstepped their bounds per se, but in the large scheme of things, it simply doesn't matter, right? So, I mean, you can continue with your parenting style of teaching your child how to think rationally, how to leverage, how to anchor themselves in science and things that can be proven beyond things that are just fanciful or made up. You can continue to do that and still let the child continue to go to church and allow the child to experience that side of life as well. And that will all actually now give your child the most well-rounded opportunity to chart their own course. Because if you're simply not religious, then you're not saying that I don't want my child to be indoctrinated into religion. I simply don't want someone to do it to them, right? So, like, for in my case, for example, I am not a religious person, but I owe religion for what has helped me reach the point that I'm at. So my children go to Sunday school, and I have no problem with them going to church and whatever all that stuff. I focus on teaching them how to think so that they don't get into the group think and some of the things that I find wrong with religion, but so that ultimately they choose their own path, and they may decide to go down religion's path, or they may decide to go down my path or whatever. That's one strength. And I think that's where the wife is coming from, where it's like, yeah, this was wrong and it was tacky, but at the end of the day, we don't even believe in it. So really, they put some water on your child's forehead and said some words, and that has no impact whatsoever on your child because we don't even believe in this stuff. So yes, they violated our trust, but that's the entirety of the story here, folks. Is nothing bigger than that. But if he's anti-religion, which he can be, it's a fair position to be, but if he's anti-religion, he needs to own that. And that would explain why he's so angry. Because he actually sees religion as being harmful, not just being annoying. So that would, to me, would convey why he's now saying, well, we need to go to counseling and they have to have supervised visitation, because he actually views religion as being damaging to his children, right? So he needs to get that straight with himself, because it's like he's really kind of creating drama out of something that may not need to be there. Now, like I said, if his belief is religion is wrong, religion is bad, 100% where he's coming from, I get it. Fight, stand on that stupid molehill that you're on, risk losing everything you put together over this moment because it violates your beliefs. But if you simply are just like not religious, I think he needs to recalibrate and still have the argument, still have the problem, but don't go so far. And I'm pretty sure that's different than what I would have said before.
I don't know where. Yeah, let me just go ahead and do this.
An update. Turns out some of you were right. My wife was in on it. I confronted her a couple of days after I posted, and I directly asked her if she knew that her parents had planned this. She broke down and confessed everything to me. My mother-in-law had been pestering her about baptizing our son nonstop, and my wife finally caved. My wife's been working from home during COVID, while my job requires me to go into the office. My wife and mother-in-law started doing Zoom meetings with my mother-in-law's priest to start the baptism process. They lied to the priest and told him that I was okay with baptizing our son, but I didn't want to be involved. The priest allowed it, and they started doing online baptism classes while I was at work. My wife admitted that she planned it around our anniversary getaway, and my mother-in-law had somehow convinced the priest that her and my father-in-law would be the only ones in attendance. My wife told me that I wasn't supposed to find out, but my mother-in-law couldn't keep her mouth shut for even one day about it. Their intention was to keep this from me permanently. I did contact the church and let them know the truth. I talked with the priest, and he was surprisingly helpful. He said that he would take the proper steps to make sure that my mother-in-law was no longer welcome in their church, and to reach out to the local parish to see what further steps had to be taken. I have yet to hear back from them on that. My wife and mother-in-law are mad that I got her kicked out of her church, but I don't care what they think or feel anymore. These people who I love and trust had betrayed me, and I felt a range of emotions that I didn't know existed. My wife begged for forgiveness, but the fact that she didn't come clean on her own makes me feel that she would have kept this from me unless I confronted her. She's willing to do therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I don't know if I want to put in that work. I feel like there's no coming back from this. I contacted a divorce lawyer, and I started discussing what a divorce would look like, and if there's any way I can add provisions to a divorce agreement that would keep my in-laws from seeing my son unsupervised. He's been very helpful, but I haven't given him the go-ahead to actually file for divorce yet. I feel that I'm still too angry about the entire thing to think rationally, and I want to give myself some time to fully grasp what a divorce will mean for me and my family. My wife and I aren't talking much. I pretty much go to work, come home to play with my son, go to bed, and repeat. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I do know that without the support and help from people on Reddit, I don't think that I would have the clarity that I do now.
I really don't like this guy.
No, let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna hand it over to the ladies of the group so they can get there and say so through. I don't know what I said last year. I honestly don't know what I said last year. I do know 2 years ago. Sorry, 2022. I don't know what I said in 2022. All I know is my answer right now is what I got out of 2023. And what I got out of 2023 is the most dangerous person on the face of the planet when it comes to relationships is somebody who tells you what it is that they really want and then go to any extreme to get what they want. And that is somebody that I cannot deal with. We've already had the story of the woman who said they want another child. You said, no, I do not want another child. So she's ready to go to any extreme, aka poke holes in the condom to get that child. This is a wife who you was on the same page. You was on the same page. You thought you was on the same page, but not only did she change the page that she had, she helped set up for the change. Now we're talking about baptizing right now, but that's my point. We're talking about this subject now. What about later? What if there's something else that the parents or the grandparents want and that you disagree with? Not only do I have to fight with the grandparent, now I have to fight with my wife who says, honey, I'm on your side, and you have to second guess yourself going, are you really?
I disagree with you.
I know you would, because I'm talking about myself, because I'm going to be looking over my back every time she says, let's go on vacation. Why? What do you got cooked up? What do you got coming that we've already agreed on that was not going to happen?
Fair question. But before you hand it off, this is where it comes back to something I brought up to you before. It comes across as everything has...
I have to say this real quick. That setup you got looked like you taking a bug shot. So every time you stop moving, it just kills me. It's literally the background of a bug shot other than the numbers on the side. And that hoodie is not helping.
So this is a wall. Normally I have those screens sit behind me, right? But this is like the wall. So what I'm gonna, weird tangent, y'all, but like what I want to do, but the business has to pay for these things. I just can't afford to continue to hemorrhage the cash that I've been hemorrhaging. But I'm gonna paint this room like a bluish gray. So and get some wall art and like move out so that you can see more behind me. Like I'm gonna do all of those things, but that's gonna come with time and money. So in the meantime, help a brother get rid of the mug shot. I need your help, but not asking for your financial assistance just yet because that's gonna be coming down the line here shortly. But yeah, fair call out.
Sorry, go ahead. I just couldn't help myself on that one. Go
No,
ahead.
but what I was gonna say though is it still comes across like everything has to fit your. In this particular case, I'm talking to you. Has to fit your dictates, which is similar to the situation I'm picking up with this guy, right? Like perhaps the reason why she goes behind you is because you don't give her room to have equal say, right? You'll let her say, but that doesn't mean you give her equal say, right? She knows coming in that whatever she says, what you say wins. So when you create that kind of an environment, you are literally creating the environment that people will go around behind you. So I'm saying like he should really look at himself and see what type of household is he running. Like everything he's saying is me, right? Like I said this. This is my stance. You violated it. You said you were with me. I shall now fight all of you. And I'm like, dude, you're not a king. You know what I'm saying?
If
So
that was the case, but if the parents were sitting there saying the child needs to be baptized, and I say, honey, how do you feel about the child being
he ain't say
baptized?
that though. Guarantee you do.
Yes, it is. Yes, but we don't
Everything
know
about
if
how
he said it.
everything about how he has told the story. Everything about how he has told the story has
At
never
one part, he
positioned her
said,
as his equal. It has always positioned her as his accomplice or co-pilot, never as his equal. He has never elevated her to that point at any point of how he was telling this story. So it makes me feel that had she said, no, I don't agree. I'm not a religious person just like you aren't, but I don't see the harm in, letting him, letting our child go to church with his grandparents and things like that. He does not seem at all, and this is just from his perspective. He's the only one who's been talking. He does not at all seem like he is open to all opposing points of view. It's his way or the highway.
but the deal is then what you need to do is then maybe if this is something that's so important to you, you take the highway. But what you don't do is do the whole manipulating behind his back and set up for somebody to go do something that one party of your marriage does not want. If you are
But it's
so into
equal.
look,
But isn't
I
that
am going
equal,
to
Marlon?
go. Yes, because I would sit there and say, I am going to go to battle with you because this is important to my parents, which makes it important to me. If you don't think it's important, and I am going to go back and forth with you until we come to some kind of conclusion. If the conclusion comes that, hey, we need to separate, cool beans. What I'm not going to do to my partner is start this whole manipulation and
But how
get.
do you not see? And I don't know how to convey this, and perhaps the ladies have a completely different view than I do. But he is doing to her the very thing that he is upset about her doing to him. He closed the door to anything other than what he wanted. And that was the end of discussion. And so she went around him and manipulated the situation to do what she wanted. They're literally doing the same thing to each other. It's
And I'm
just that it's
and I'm
manifesting in a way that comes out
to a
this way.
guy who I've been on here who said, "Do not play tit for tat." Now, if that person is manipulating, then why would you do the same thing and think,
I don't
okay,
understand.
you you've been a person who always say, "Do not do tit for tat," because
Correct.
that does that
Escalation.
escalation
Yes.
thing because that escalates. So how is this any different? If you're if she is being manipulated by him, then why would
Well,
you
well,
fight that with manipulation?
How it differs, is when I'm talking about how I would do something. First of all, my leadership style in my household is different than what I'm perceiving his to be. So that in and of itself shifts the dynamic. And I'm not saying I always get it right. My wife will tell you I don't always get it right. But I don't do that thing where it doesn't have to be my way. Now it'll end up being my way if you don't give me something, but it doesn't have to go my way. I don't think that everyone has to find a way to suit my perceived worldview. And this is not what I'm picking up from this story. From this story, he has his worldview. He has his view of his family. He has his view of what he wants for his son. But he has not truly engaged his spouse to make sure that they both feel the same way about that thing. Now, she can agree when it's in the abstract, and that's a completely different thing before she ends up having to go and deal with her parents. Because in her heart of hearts, this really doesn't matter. So why upset these old people who just want to, introduce their grandson to eternal salvation so they can feel comfortable? It's just not that big a deal to her. But fighting him over it is a whole nother thing. And that's anyway. But I've talked enough. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Tracy.
I'm going to hand it over to Tracy and Anna when she gets back. Go ahead, Tracy. And you're muted before you get started.
This mother-in-law is a trip and a half. She started it. I see where this is going, and he brought this on himself. Blah 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 blah. She bowed her knee to her mama. She couldn't tell her mama to stay out of the business. She couldn't tell her. She couldn't stand up to her own mother. I don't blame him. Now, sure, he went a little bit too far with the divorce because he has his hand in the cookie jar too. But essentially, the wife is straight up wrong for going behind the husband's back and the decision that both of them should have made about the child. They both agreed in the beginning not to have the child baptized. Then she goes behind his back because her mother is pressuring her. Girl, please grow up and tell your mama to sit down. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay, Anna is back. So go ahead,
Hmm. Well, the only thing I can clearly remember about this from last time is I didn't know what the whole preparing for baptism was in the classes. But honestly, I'm more aligned with. I think it was Theist with the overall. What does pouring some water over a child's head? Child won't remember it, and I don't know. I think he overreacted. The way he wrote that story was very alarming to me as well. I think the wife was caught not only between him but two parents who were just going. Well, actually, I can't say parents. I can only say from the mother because that's what I heard from the story. Why haven't you gotten him baptized yet? How in the world are you going to let my grandson walk through this life unsaved or whatever, and should she have grown up and said, Honey, I have to tell you that my mom is on me a lot. And let's talk about this. No, she shouldn't have gone behind his back, but I can see it's a small thing.
This is not a small thing, though. This is not a small thing. Not a small thing at all. They both have control issues. Both of them.
Okay.
He wants to control the situation by saying no, 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 even though I still take his side because at least he was saying, hey, we agreed on this. And she just let her mother just come in and just willy nilly just say, no, it's going to be this way. And then says, yeah, let's not tell him. How was you going to keep that a secret? How did she think that was going to work? Just, okay, we're not going to say anything. Shh, don't tell anything. Not that I think children baptisms mean anything, but that's a whole different discussion for a whole different day. But, lady, I mean, I know what my response would have been. Like, Tracy's response would have been, that's a baby. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I think I agree with Tracy here. Um, and I have to admit my own bias. Um, because this is kind of it's not a direct like match for me, but like I'm the one that if I believe something, I will stand on that to anyone, right? I'll be polite or I'll be diplomatic depending upon who I'm dealing with, especially if we're talking about parents and in-laws. But I will be very firm in what I stand on, right? Um, but when I look back at it, thinking back to like my first marriage, where we were both very young, and I didn't realize it then, but later I come to realize that the compromised position that my then wife was in constantly, like I didn't even recognize it, right? She would agree with me because she loved me. She was married to me. She was raising a family with me. But that didn't mean that she wholeheartedly agreed with me. It just meant that she was siding with her husband. But then on the same token, she has her mother, who is also a very powerful influence in her life. So she also is trying to be the good daughter. So she would be compromised there. So literally, this person is in a position to where out of love, they are stuck in a no-win situation where they are trying to please the husband, they are trying to please the mother, they are trying to care for the child. They're trying to figure out of these three different places, how do I find the optimal balance that will hurt the least amount of people and still keep the family together? Like, I didn't realize this when I was the husband in that scenario. I could only see my point of view. And my point of view was when I asked you, you said yes. So that lets me know that we're on the same page. So that was the end of the story for me. Right? So like I was this guy. That's why I was saying what I was saying before, Marlon. Like you have to be a better leader than that. You have to go with more than you agreed with me. As a leader, in my view, you have to say, did she okay, she agreed with me. Did she agree with me for this reason, that reason? Do I need to explore more or are we good where we are? What are the different things going on? And then as I get ready to get on my high horse and decide how often my in-laws can be around their own grandchild, they've not posed any physical threat to this child. They've only posed what I perceive to be an ideological threat. Am I going to get on my high horse and now what position did I just put my wife in? Right? Because I'm supposed to be her caretaker and that child's caretaker. So what position did I just put her in? And is that the position I want my wife to be in? So now, even if she doesn't speak up, I should be aware enough to come to her and say, hey, these are the concerns I have when I look at everything. I think a big piece, and this is very patriarchal, this is very chauvinistic. I'm aware of that. I'm sorry. It is who I am. Fortunately, I have a woman who actually understands that and can function with me. But this is my view. If you're going to say that you are the man and you are the lead and you are the head, it's more than just having the final say. It is how you lead. It is saying what crucible, what pressures are the people who I am in charge of going through to satisfy me? Because sometimes they're going to say stuff to me just to make it go through. So that's why I'm saying in this scenario, he's overreacting depending upon where his belief system lies, right? If his belief system is just, like I said, I hate to rehash, but if he is just against someone manipulating him, then he needs to have a family meeting and they need to put it all on the carpet, and they need to hash this thing out, have the hurt feelings, get through the crying, reach the understanding, and you may not get what you want, but now the family can actually move in the same direction under the same understanding. Or if he's really ready to burn his whole family to the ground because of his ideological stance, because it's really what it is, his ideological stance versus the in-laws ideological stance, and he's not willing to lose, fine, that's the hill you want to die on, like you said, then do that. But now think about this, sir. Once you've done this, you lose all the leverage that you treasure so much. You will not be there to determine how that child is raised in the same capacity that you would have been had you maintained that household. So are you ready for that trade-off? And that's the hard discussion that has to be had. And he has to reach that understanding, because divorce is only going to make it worse, not better.
I say they tell the mother-in-law off. That's what I say.
Well, my final thing, and then we'll move on. Everybody on this panel is wrong and I'm right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to. I'm just kidding. Jokey for 2024. I'm trying to get a slogan, and that didn't work. That was
No,
awful.
that didn't, because they usually run
That did
sloganeering
not
like
work.
your cousin. Your cousin told you to stop sloganeering.
My cousin said, what?
Your cousin, Jim,
Not my
told
cousin.
you to stop
Not my
sloganeering.
cousin. Not
He
my
is your
cousin.
cousin.
Not my cousin. I don't know who the heck he is to me. Yeah, let's face it, probably cousin. Mafia video of the week. 4 years upon years upon years, we have been doing it wrong in America. Are you done? Cause now look like you're taking and you're muted too. You're muted. I have no idea what you're saying. So now it looks like you're taking a license, driver's
My
license.
bad. I'm trying to do better. Like you said, it was the prison shot, and I'm like, okay, well, how can I make this a little better?
Just stand up and turn to the side.
Oh.
That's making it worse.
What are you doing?
Got his own crystal ball.
I do not want things to know the future before anybody else. I really
I
don't.
can work it all out for y'all, man. You let me
Because
know.
as soon as I figure out that he know the future, then he winds up in another country before we do, and we all go, "What the hell happened? What?"
Man, I'm telling you, once this
My,
passport come back, it's a wrap, y'all.
my internet is not working too well, so sorry. I'll get back to you. Nah, dude, no, come on.
Things ain't looking good. I know this ain't the political moment, but things ain't
No,
looking good,
and
folks.
let's not get into it because we'll get all into it tomorrow. So let's not even do it. But anyway, we've been doing it all wrong in America. It isn't the things that keep a marriage together. It's not happiness. It's not understanding.
It's porn.
It's not porn. Good gracious. None of those things. What does keeping American couples together, keep American couples from divorce? Donuts.
How are all marriages in divorce?
Because they not eating the donuts.
Don't get the divorce, get the donut. Cinnamon twist, cinnamon beer claw, blueberry muffin, croissant, glazed twist, glazed donut, rainbow sprinkle donut.
Baby, I love it when you talk donut.
Hey, get a room.
Get the donut.
I gotta call my wife. I love her so much.
If you're married, has a hole in it, fill it with a donut.
Don't get divorced, get the donut.
Cinnamon crumb donut, chocolate raised donut, old-fashioned buttermilk donut, chocolate buttercream filling, banana.
Ah, it's getting hot in here.
We are open 23/7.
We only close from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Do I have to tell you what's going to happen during that hour?
Making donuts.
At the Donut Prince, 1721 West Olive Avenue, Burbank, California, 91506. Don't get the divorce, get the donut.
George Lopez is easily one of my absolute favorite comedians. Bar none. Love that dude. And then the wife in there, she's so cute.
I really honestly don't even have but one issue with this video. Seriously, I don't. I thought it
Just
was
one?
cute. Yeah, really. Just really. I thought it was a cute, cheaply made video. I know we always up with these great productions of a dinosaur roaming through the back streets and King Kong grabbing them from behind. I know not everybody has that production.
Why King Kong grabbing folks from behind? I mean, if that's how you got your kink, do your thing, King Kong.
We literally just talked about us keeping a marriage together. But my point is, I only had one issue with it. Whoever produced this, you really should never have that dude wink at the camera or anybody breathing ever again.
I like the wink.
A wink. That wasn't a wink. That was a bewitched nose tweak or something that he did. That wasn't even a wink. He did nothing.
I like the wink.
That was not a wink. I don't know what.
Keep the wink.
That was a weak wink. Other than that,
she knew what that wink was. Because when they go make them donuts between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., she know what that wink was.
Dry ass chocolate donut that you had.
Them donuts look good. Man, them donuts look good.
Yeah, all of them look good except that chocolate one. That chocolate one look like that's been sitting for a minute. But them glazed ones, good. Ooh. Oof. Y'all master the glazed ones.
I only like apple fritters. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. Foxy's videos of the week. say I am going to come out of I'm going to come into 2024 swinging at this. Why wait until February and March to get into it? We will never agree on work relations, employment, and everything else. Never have, never will.
That's just because you're wrong.
That's because you're always wrong. Literally, you haven't got one right yet. You bet like 0 and 700. It's really bad, man.
No, I think I'm right.
Well, that's what most management people think. That's why they're
So you had
bad.
a good birthday, Tracy?
I did. It was so great.
I'm so glad to hear
I
that.
didn't get to visit my mother's gravesite though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just don't think I can do it. I went to the cemetery, but I was like, nope, can't do it.
Did she pass on or near your birthday? Did
She
I
passed
miss
on my
that?
birthday.
Oh,
God.
her
That's
mother.
what
Yeah.
I said. I learned something new about you in your birthday video. I can't imagine how hard that is.
So Tracy, if I may, and it's really because I'm seeking to understand. Okay. Because I've not personally, as of this time, lost anyone truly, all that close to me in my adulthood, right? Um, with your mother passing on your birthday, which is a lie, um, how do you reconcile those feelings? Like, does it change how you view your birthday? Do you compartmentalize and separate the birthday and the loss?
Oh
Like,
no, they go
because
together. I
because I'm
mean,
confused.
every birthday I have woken up for the past 20 years and cried. It's just what I do. I mean, it's just a part of me. For the first 8 9 years, I didn't even celebrate my birthday. I was like, nope. For what reason?
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and I've never gone through it. It really is a question for knowledge. Absolutely no judgment whatsoever because I've literally have not gone through this at all. Okay, I just want to say that all front. So now that you are able to celebrate your birthday,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what this situation is, what would change for you going to the grave site? Like, is that just too
I
overwhelming?
think it
Is it
overwhelmed me because if I had
okay?
went, even though I know she's gone, I know she's gone, I know she's gone because I've made mention of it for the past 20 years. I know she's gone. Going there just would have been just overwhelming for me. It's not going to change it. She's not there because I believe absent in the body, present with the Lord. That's what I've always believed. That's what I'm always going to believe. But
Can
for
you repeat that, please?
absent in the body, present with the Lord.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
a
Okay.
belief. It's an interesting belief. I'm not going to dissect it here because of the moment we're in. But yeah, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. It's
Yeah,
basically saying that we put down this vessel, um, but the
yeah,
spirit is
sure.
able to move
She,
through.
I know I'm gonna go. I know I'm going to go. But I kept saying, "Oh, I'll go tomorrow," and then tomorrow came, and then I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go right now. I know I'm gonna have to go.
Have you
Because
ever gone off? Off?
no,
You've
like
never
on
gone to the
January
site ever?
9th, 2004, that was it. I was like, I had always said I would
Oh,
never go back. Just like I said, I
So
wouldn't go to my father's
Um,
gravesite. I'm like,
okay.
they're not there. What am I going for?
yeah, and that's why I'm asking. Well, that's not why I'm asking, but I'm awkward. I don't know how to ask what what's in my head, right? I'm usually pretty good with words, but right now I'm struggling because
Yeah, because
like
there's a lot to take in.
we just laid my brother to rest. Okay. Um, he passed away. Well, first we were told he passed away like on the 13th, but it's like I don't know how these country doctors do it, but they told the family that he was deceased, and then they revived him. So then he was on life support, and he officially died on Christmas Day, Christmas morning, early in the morning. So, as you can imagine, for my wife and the surviving siblings and my mother-in-law, this is a really heavy thing. And he was the patriarch, if you will, of the family. So losing him is devastating. And it coincides with Christmas.
Right.
So that's why I'm trying to ask, because I
You're
don't know
asking
how to be
how
present.
do I both celebrate my mother's birth passing and my birthday both at the same time?
Kind of. It's less about, and this. Thank you for saying that. So it's less about how do you reconcile it,
Or how
and
can you
more of
reconcile?
how
Oh
how
boy.
can those who care for you be present for you, given that? Because for me, it creates a dissonance, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like
Let me
I
add this
can't
real quick.
do
Let me
that.
add
So
this real quick, Tracy, before you answer. We've had two stories. But I'm going to explain one of the stories, if y'all remember, of the son that died, and the parents have decided that no one is to celebrate a birthday because that son died. So
Oh, you talking about the lady that got wanted to get married and the child passed and she didn't
no,
want
this is the one where the son died and the parents decided no one should celebrate a birthday. So now we're gonna go to
His birthday or any birthday?
Yeah,
any birthday. Any birthday.
yeah,
Any.
that's much.
Whoa.
That's a
Because
bit
the
much
story,
there.
but the story is y'all will remember because the story really started off with my wife does not want to celebrate our 1-year-old birthday, but her parents will feel some type of way because it was like, why would you celebrate your 1-year-old birthday when her uncle died at 17? And it's like it just kept going, and then husband then the wife agreed, okay, let's go ahead and have the celebration, but nobody can know about it. The
Yeah,
husband
no, that's
went with
totally irrational and unfair. I'm trying to
so
more be like, as someone who cares for you, who can't understand how, like, I understand how important the loss of a loved one is, and I understand how important a holiday is, but how do you be present for someone who, at this point in their grieving process, can't disassociate the two things?
You will. Here. I'll tell you my experience. I never can disassociate the two. There's no way I'm ever going to separate my mother's passing from my birthday. They're hand in hand. They just are. She
Mm.
passed January 4th, 2004. I turned 30. The day she passed, I can remember the day she passed. Like I can tell you exactly where I was, what I was thinking, what I was doing. I'm never going to disassociate the two, especially those first few years. And I don't know how they'll feel because they can be totally different. They can feel different when Christmas comes around next year. It's going to be hard for them because they're going to remember, oh, Christmas Day he passed. And you just have to be there to listen to them. If they go off and say they don't believe anymore, you have to be with them there. If they go super duper religious, you still have to be there for them. I think in my situation, I don't think a lot of people like to talk about it. I talk about it more than anybody because I think it helps me. Because I still haven't. It's been 20 years, and I can tell you right now, I'm not over it. When I first got this house, first thing I thought was call my mother. Then I was like, Tracy, how you gonna call your parents and they not here? How you gonna do that? And it gets easier, but I will never get over it. Never, never, ever,
Yeah,
ever.
and I never say that, right? Because
and I'll never
I
move
don't
past
think
it.
it's something you can get over. It becomes a part of you. It becomes a part
Yeah,
of your
it's
story,
just a part of me. Like I said,
right?
it's linked,
Yeah.
and
I,
that's
I
why.
was saying it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
just be ready for a roller coaster, Theus, because
Yep.
you're never sure what moment those tears are going to
Yep.
come.
And they'll come at
Yeah.
opportune times. You'll be like, well, what? Just let them, whatever it
Well,
is they want to express, just be there. That's the only
because
thing I can say.
the world continues, and you don't know what. And I hate to use the word trigger, but that's the best word I can think about right now. You don't know what triggers the emotion. You don't know what smell triggers that emotion. You don't know what sound triggers that emotion. You don't know what song triggers that emotion. You
All
don't
of that.
you can roll down a street to get to a destination that has nothing to do with your loved one. But you passed a house that was a memory in the back of your head that you
No, all
saw.
of that I get. All of that I
And
get. It's just a matter of, um, like, because it hits me too, because that's the brother who accepted me into the family, right? So he was my my closest link. Um, I'll never hear him say brother-in-law again. And he said it his own way. It was just, it meant something, right? But it's still like, it's Christmas and it's the passing of
Yeah, there
my
is no
brother.
that link
And
is
in
always
my
gonna
brain, they're
exist.
two different things that happen on the
Mm-mm.
same day. But for the family,
They're linked.
right, and it's probably going to be
Yeah,
that way for
as I
some
said,
years.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be like this forever for me. It's gonna change. And so when I wake up January, even though I did go live on my birthday, I actually went live 6 o'clock in the morning. Got up, went live. Um,
I ain't got that kind of discipline.
I was rolling around to the other side of the bed.
um,
But go ahead.
I think for me, it's just like I said, my faith helped a lot. But there's a point, if I had to admit, that I was not happy. I was like, look, I don't understand this at all. Because I lost people in the past. But my mama? Not my mama. That's what I thought of first the day she passed. I completely forgot it was my birthday. Didn't even think about it was my birthday until my father mentioned it. That thought didn't
So you
even
lost
cross
your
my
mother
mind.
before your father,
Yeah, my father.
and
Yeah, my
was your
father
father
passed.
dealing with Alzheimer's at that time?
He was in the start stage.
Okay.
Um,
Oof.
and so for me, it was just it's kind of is what it. That's why I make such a big deal about my birthday because I know. Well, one, we were so poor growing up, we really didn't have birthdays, but um, I just that's why I do it. I don't just do it because, well, it's my birthday. Ha ha. No, especially this one because it was 20 years and like for the first fifth, no, the first 18 years, I had the same dream. The early January 4th morning. I dreamed that my aunt called me, told me that my mother passed because that's what actually happened. She called me. She told me I would have the same dream over and over every single year. I would have that same dream. Then about 3 years ago, I stopped having it, and that's when it clicked. I still have to keep going on. Yeah, those 2 days are going to be linked. Mother's Day is hard. Christmas Day is hard. My niece's nephew's birthday is hard because she didn't get to see. My father got to see. My niece and nephew be born. My mother never, ever got to see that. And so I started thinking about what she missed. She, to her children, went into the ministry. She missed all of that. Now, I didn't go into the ministry, so I didn't do what they did, but, I've achieved some things.
Too what?
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's hard to explain because I don't know very many people that have lost a parent on their birthday. And it's like hard to explain what I was like. You're mad at God, but you can't be because you were taught not to be. But then you read, oh yeah, it's okay to be mad at God because He ain't gonna be mad at you. Okay, cool. Let's just go. Let me just tell you what I think. No, because the three of us, me, Theus, and Marlon, we know this. When you grow up in church, no one said, don't question God. Okay, but what you know, you don't know nothing. Why should I
Yeah, that
question
was
the person
yeah.
that knows everything? You don't
And
know
you know what's
anything.
funny? It's funny you say that. Because people will swear up and down, right? No, 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 no one ever said that. No, no, I know very well. Growing up, I was taught you do not question and you do not get angry at God.
And I was
And I
both.
don't, right? And
And guess what? He
but
forgave me because he already knew I was gonna be mad. He already
but
knew it's okay. That's what I said at my cousin's memorial. It's okay that you mad at God. It's okay. He already knew you was gonna be that way. He already. It's
which is
okay.
always yeah, we're not okay. I'm not gonna go into because I think the beauty of this conversation and what you just shared with us, I think is helpful to not just me, but hopefully to someone else who comes across this. Um, but yeah, but it's funny those things that we were taught that aren't even like actually in the
They
Bible.
ain't in it. And I'm like, what script was it? Because
You
when
know?
y'all read the Bible, I'll be like, what question to ask y'all? Give me the chapter, scripture, the chapter in the. I want all three because you're gonna tell me this one. Well, you
Yeah,
can't
there's so
question.
many things that we are taught that are
We
impressions
all way
of the
wrong.
Bible,
And no,
but
they be
they're
like,
not
oh, we never
in
said
there.
that. Yes, you did.
But it was
So
that distance that started even when I was deep, deep in the church. It was that distance because I'm so
this is
attached
why you had to
to
read for
to
yourself because people will. I'm like, now y'all know good well that ain't nowhere in the
Yeah.
Bible. Ain't in there nowhere. Y'all just making stuff up.
Well, and the funny thing about it is, it may actually be in the Bible,
No, I'm
but
guaranteed you can't question God is not in the Bible. Matter of
no, I
fact,
mean
it
I
says
got that. But you know, we said this before, and Tracy, we agreed on this. They'll say a Bible verse from the Bible, it flat out in the Bible, but they never read what was before that
or
verse
after it, or the whole chapter.
or
I'm like, read
after
the whole
that verse.
chapter.
That
Read the
changes
whole
everything that statement
all
said.
out of context. Like, wait a
Just
minute. Hold
you do
on.
but
it.
that's what people do.
That's what
And
people do.
I have a whole conversation I would love to have on this, but I will relent
You're gonna
on
refrain. So
this.
But anyway,
everybody, yeah, just like I said, I've never ran into another person that has lost a parent on their actual birthday. I still have yet to meet that person. I know I'm not the only one, but
Yeah,
it's a
that's the
club
worst
that I
lottery to
don't.
win right there, boy.
that's
It's a club that I don't want anybody else to join because it stinks. But yeah, usually I always cry on it. I'd wake up and I cry. I'm just like, okay, go wash your face.
whew. Well, thank you,
And with
Tracy.
that, I had a scavenger hunt. But did anybody RSVP? Nope.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Marlon.
thank you. As you look this wonder, did you remember to sign up for it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Uh, anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. Where I proved that Theus is wrong again. Theus, I want to know, do you think something like this would work in the workplace?
So I'm looking at your resume, Veronica, and I just wanted to follow up on something. It shows me here on your resume that you could speak Spanish. Yes, so I put that on there because I could speak Spanish depending on what you're offering. Are you able to give me some more information about your differentials for Spanish speakers? We offer $1 more per hour for Spanish speaking. And is that negotiable? It's not, it's really not negotiable. That's been the going rate for a while now. In that case, uno poquito yo explico español. I mean, I could probably approve up to 150. Un peso 50 centavos. Yo puedo hablar español un poquito más y un poquito más rápido. Oh, I see what's happening. So we really do need a Spanish speaker. I could probably get $2.50 approved by the board, but that's the highest that we're going to be able to go. Ah, pues chica, tranquila. Aquí voy a estar hablando español como si fuera el único idioma que sé. Sí, $2.50 la hora más. Está bien. Vamos, dale. Déjame firmar el contrato.
So here's what as a hiring manager, I would not want to hire this person because it's just, and it's not because she held back on how well she could speak Spanish or whatever. I get it. I get that. It's because you decided to play games with me, right? So, do I want to deal with that personality type? So if I tell you that, hey, this is the position, are you bilingual? You say, well, what does bilingual actually get me? And I say, well, it gets you $1 an hour. And you say, well, that's just not enough. And then I say, okay, well, that's what we're offering. And then you say, well, no, I wouldn't want to. Or then, no, I'm not going to be able to do bilingual work. That's fair. That's 100% fair. Why should you give me more when I'm not going to pay you more? I support that. Now, show my happy ass up, and I'll speak English all day long to your customers, even though you hear me speaking flawless Spanish in the break room. That's cool, right? Because the going rate just wasn't enough. But she did like this, I know she was doing it for effect, but like it was, well, how much is it? Okay, well, for that, I'll give you this much Spanish. For that, I'll give you this much Spanish. For that, okay, yeah, I'll give you full Spanish. It's the personality game. It's the gameplay that I simply wouldn't even want you on my floor speaking English. Because this is going to manifest in more personnel issues down the road.
Well, welcome to 2024. And then still don't agree. The game played at the very beginning of this whole situation was by management, was by the corporation. And I have gotten to the point where I am so sick and tired of employees playing the same game as employers, and all of a sudden it's toxic and we don't want to deal with you, which is fine. You have every right to not want to deal with me. I'm trying to get a job with you, which is cool. But at the same time, why should I undermine my skills and everything else to be hired from you when I know you full of it, just so you can say, ooh, I made a quota? Like, no, I'm going to go to a company that will value my skills, and then we can move on. It's the equivalent of the pandemic that kept saying people don't want to work. No, I'm sorry. It's not that people don't want to work. People don't want to work for you, because what you have been doing for decades upon decades upon decades, people have finally woke up. There's that word again, woke, and figured that you are a toxic company that people do not want to have to deal with and do not have to deal with anymore.
You just manufactured an argument because I already agree with you. I even said that in my response.
This woman did play games. I got it. Cool beans. Kudos. You automatically said, if you can speak Spanish, I'm gonna give you $1 more. Here comes the game. Here comes the game at the corporation, and nothing else. That's all we got. Because you spoke a little bit more Spanish in it, I can talk to them a little bit.
I agree.
they can go up a little. Did she talk full Spanish? Okay, I can go up to full something, and that's the most I can. You, the corporation, played games. You
Yes.
knew what the ceiling was, but no, I don't want to go to that ceiling at first because I don't know where you
So
at.
if I'm
So I'm gonna
negotiating,
leverage myself to tell you I can speak Spanish when your ceiling was $1, knowing that wasn't the real ceiling. The
okay.
ceiling was
So
for
what you're saying is what you're saying defies all elements of negotiation anyway. You're saying, come to me with your highest amount, and I'll decide whether or not I want that. And I'm saying to you, just off of what we just experienced or with a little scenario, if I had said, "Oh, it pays $2.50 an hour," then you would have said, "Yo no speako the English, the Espanol," because you're still in the negotiating phase. You haven't eliminated anything, right? She's still going to negotiate, which is her right to do. But whether it happens at $1 or it happens at 250, the negotiation is still going to occur. Personally, I would prefer, and this is how my business is structured, is that the position starts at a particular pay so that people who have been doing the job for a year are not penalized for having done it for a year. So this position pays $15 an hour. And next year, this position pays $16 an hour. So when you get hired in at 16. And the person doing the job is at 16. And then people will say, because there's no perfect solution here, people will then say, well, wait a minute. I've been doing this job for a year, and you're going to give her the same money that you're giving me. I have more expertise. I have more, what do you call it? Whatever experience in this role. And my response to you would be, the role pays this amount. If you are ready to take on the next role, which pays a different amount, then let's look at that. But the role pays this. So each year, as we adjust, we're going to adjust everybody in this role within that margin. But people will not like that either. See, that's the thing. No matter how you come at this negotiation, Marlon, no one's going to be happy. If they had said it's $1 for Spanish speaking, and she says, well, that's not enough for me to be willing to do basically almost 2 jobs, right? Because what you're going to do is you're going to put me in the queue that everybody that come in here and speak Spanish. So now I'm having to reinterpret your policies and guidelines in in real time to speak to Spanish speakers. And you only going to pay me $1 to do that. Nah, we're not going to play that game. All right? Fine. So she negotiated whatever. I get that. It was the games part is the part that I'm getting at because that speaks to your character and it speaks to how you conduct yourself. Now, do businesses do it from the other end? Absolutely, and I don't agree with that either. You're not going to get me to support the negative ways that American capitalism takes advantage of its employees. Right? I'm just not going. That's not my position. I think business should be done differently.
So how should, because I have a hard time believing anybody would negotiate like she did. So how
She did it
should
for
they?
effect.
Sorry,
She did it for effect. This was just for the
for the
for
video,
the
right?
yeah.
Well, okay, so but if you're really thinking, whoa, wait, $1? What is the appropriate way to negotiate?
I wish I could tell you what the appropriate way would be. Now, for me, the best way that you would come at that is when I say that that it pays a dollar extra for being bilingual, and you say, well, I don't think that $1 is enough. Can we, can I get $2? Right now,
Okay.
you have pushed it back to me, and then I say, well, either I'm going to push back at you and say, no, it's $1, or I'm going to push it back at you and say $1.50, right? So that's how you negotiate, right? You hear what the company is saying, right? They need to go first, right? Don't let them get you bidding against yourself. They have to go first. And then you say, no, I'll do the job at the amount you're telling me to, but for me to do this, right? Because you're asking for more from me than your typical employee, then I want that, right? And then that's where that negotiation happens. What corporations get over on us is that they know there is a fear of missing out. They know that we don't know where the red line is. So we're afraid to say 2 when the number should have been $1.50. And they use that against us.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to another question that's right up there in Anna's well. I'm gonna let them talk first. I just have too many statements on this. I'm trying to get more into dealing with toxic individuals in 2024 because the election is coming up. The big election is coming up. So I'll have a bunch of videos about how to deal with certain people in the election, in your relationship, in your family. It's not, bilingual, flat out just for universal use. If you want to use it for that, sure. But so here's what I'm talking about right now: the gray rock method.
Hey, what's that?
Oh, it's a Christmas card from Mom and Dad.
You know, speaking of Christmas, every year your Christmas gifts to me are horrible. And I spend every day after Christmas returning the gifts you give me. So you know what? I don't want any gifts from you this year. I'm going to get my own gifts so I get what I want, okay?
Okay.
Now, no gifts, right? So that means since you're not getting me anything, I'm not going to give you any gifts this Christmas. You got that?
Yes.
No gifts, right? You understand?
Fine. Yeah. Okay. That was very difficult, but that's gray rocking. He was working every possible angle to get an emotional outburst out of me. He wanted to hurt me, and he was pushing every button he could. I didn't give him any emotional connection that he could latch onto. That's why preoccupy with something in your hand. Don't make eye contact with him, because when you look into someone's face, they can see your emotions, you can see their emotions, and then it's very difficult to keep basically null and void over the situation, and that's what you're trying to do. This is not a cure for a bad relationship. It's a way for you to keep your sanity.
Yeah, that was great for a video, but it wouldn't work in reality.
I think it actually literally would work in reality.
See, here's why I say it wouldn't work. All right. So he's being a complete ass. All right. Rah, 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 rah. Okay. Rah, 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 rah. Okay. It will then pivot. So I'm trying to explain to you how I feel when we do Christmas each year, and you're telling me you don't even care. That lets me know how you even feel about me. See, they'll just pivot. And now if you go with, okay, you have now engaged, even though you were trying not to. So that's what I'm saying. In reality, someone who's trying to manipulate you, they don't just have one trick. They're not going to come at you with just one play, right? They're going to come at you the way he did. You're going to say, oh, and he's going to be, okay. So she's not going to respond to me, huh? Okay. So now I'm going to use against her that she's not responding to me. That's what manipulators do.
But the
I'm
deal
pretty sure we've
is,
all done it on some point. I know I've done it.
but here's the deal is when I use this method is once I know, regardless of what I say, and I never say it out loud, but and I've never done it on this. I never done it on this show. I promise you, I've literally never done it on this show. I'll fight each and every one of y'all before I do gray rocking. So
I ain't
that'll
never
never
heard. They
happen.
make up a new term for every damn thing.
But I just do not want to get into bad faith conversations with you, and I'm not. I know you're trying to get me emotionally invested into this conversation. So it's not like I'm just saying, okay, okay, okay. What she did was she did put in some sentences. So you understand what I go? I completely understand. So nothing else, no. Completely understand what you're saying. Understand exactly what you're saying. Now, if he pivots, cool. Have a ball with it. Because all I'm going to look at you and say is that's not the conversation we was having. And that's another level that wasn't in this video. I get that. I get that. I'm just telling you what I would do. That's not the conversation we was having. A conversation that we was having was you didn't want to give Christmas gifts from me, and thus I was not to give Christmas gift to you. Understand completely what you were saying. So you're saying that you didn't care for me. No, I said I understood that I was not to get a Christmas gift to you. You was not to give a Christmas gift to me.
And welcome to the
What I'm
circle.
trying to do is we so much try. I try to make sure that you are level headed to the point where no matter what, and I studied this over the holidays, and I've been studying it for years. What I'm trying to do is when you so emotionally invested in everything somebody's saying and you know the goalpost is moved, if you're emotional into it, good Lord, I hate to say that because this this is real well of logic, not emotional, but I have to use it on this one. You know they're trying to get you into an emotional fight, for lack of a better term. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that even when they know they're moving the goalposts, whether they know it or not, you do not go along with the goalposts. I.e., I know you're trying to say because of what you said and what I agree with means all of a sudden I don't care about you. No, what I'm going to do, which i.e. I'm moving the goalposts exactly back to what we was discussing, was no, what we was discussing was presents for Christmas. So that means you don't care. No, that does not mean one thing means another. It means you said Christmas gifts. I'm agreeing with Christmas gift. Thus, it means you don't care about me. No, that's not what that means. That means you don't want me to give you Christmas gifts. So what I'm trying to do is do not allow them to just up and move the goalpost, because if you go into it knowing that they're trying to get you emotionally charged, that when they move the goalpost, you are so wrapped up, you go along with it. You go along with it, and you're going to lose because you're not prepared for what the next subject is. And that's what makes it so unfair when we was talking about politics. I went through this for the longest time when we was talking about a subject that I did know about, that I had all knowledge about. I know I'm pivoting. That I had all knowledge about. And they moved the goalpost and pivoted so quick to a subject I did not know about. And thus, now I'm looking like I'm wrong because, well, wait a minute. I know this subject and you don't. And kind of your fault because that's not the subject that we was on. Now, if you want to go to a different subject, we can go to a different subject at a later date when I can do a little more research on it. But that's not what we was on right now. So if you want to continue to discuss what we're talking about right now, I'm happy to do so. But if you want to go to another subject that has nothing to do with what we was talking about, no, I'm gonna need a little more time to research it, and I'll get back to you. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna pivot because you're
Your
taking
conversations don't naturally go from one thought to another to another.
it does, and if it was for a people that I can trust. Come on, Anna. You've been on this show for 4 years. We could take one subject. We talked about somebody picked up a stray dog from the street, and the next thing we know, we're trying to figure out why Trump should have been in jail for January 6th. We have no idea how the hell we got there, but we got there. So yeah.
I don't think that's what she was saying. It's just a
But
matter
no, I
of
know what you're saying, but I have to in 2024 have to go to what you were saying, Anna. Was it an even flow to a different subject? Or was you flat out figured out, hey, I'm not going to win this subject, so I'm going to throw out something that has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation we was having because I'm not winning this argument. And best believe people, there are some people who are unfaith, not unfaith,
they're acting in bad faith. Yeah.
acting in bad faith who has subjects lined up. Oh, I'm not going to win this one, so I'm going to say this. And they'll try to make you figure like what you were saying, Anna, that it is even flow to the conversation. When really, if you think about it, it wasn't. One
But here's
didn't
the
have
thing.
nothing to do with the other.
Here's the thing. With the way you were laying it out, which I follow, you still just walked yourself right into an ever cycling rhetorical game of fetch, right? And how that happens, in my opinion, is one person is banking on the other person not wanting the confrontation. So he came to her the way he did. His real complaint is he's not actually satisfied with the types of presents he gets. That's his real complaint.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, because of how I feel about that, don't get me anything. And then he expected her to come back at, well, why don't you like what I give you, or blah, 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 or I could do better, or blah, 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 whatever script she could throw at him, he was ready for that argument. But instead, she seemed nonchalant and unfazed. And she said, okay, fine. I won't get you anything. Completely bypassing his real concern. His real concern is the quality of the present. So then he continues. So this might just be the mean side of me. But like I use that if it's my marital situation, I'm actually going to just go ahead and call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna call it. Like, so we gonna fight now? Like, just go ahead right there. Like, we're not gonna do 8 rounds of passing the ball back and forth, right? Like, let's just go ahead. Look, if the issue is you want to have it out with me, let's just go ahead and do that, right? Don't buy me the presents you get me are terrible, and I don't want you to buy me anything. All right, so are you really saying that you don't want me to get you anything? You need me to get you something better. What are you actually asking me? That will end the conversation a whole lot faster than even what she was doing. Because now I'm taking the power from you, right? You were throwing stuff at me. I'm gonna shut this down. Say, oh, we done with all that. Now let's go right at it. What do you want? I want to make you think. What do you want? You brought this to me. What do you want? You want to fight or you want to resolve this? Now, that's me being married for damn near 20 years. So, thick skin. I know she ain't going nowhere. She know I ain't going nowhere. We're going to figure this shit out. So sometimes we can be buttholes to each other. But he was counting on her not doing that. He was literally counting on her being devastated that she's not happy with his presence. And then he could go ahead and try to basically maneuver her to do better. So I get it. Her plan was a good plan from the standpoint of someone who's afraid of conflict. And it would never work against someone that is seeking conflict.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Last video of the night, and I'm totally going to be honest with you. This is a shot at Theas and Parker because they picked on me last year.
Never.
And I stand by my decision.
I know a sound that all men love.
And I still haven't seen a Star Wars movie.
There's something wrong with you.
I know that was the Star Wars theme, though, didn't I?
What? No, it's not the Star Wars thing. That's Darth Vader's entrance music.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
that's like the evil guy.
Yeah, don't nobody get to use that but Darth Vader.
LL, welcome 2024. I appreciate you coming through. You had a lot of messages in there. Not everybody is worth conflict. I agree, which is why I'm conditioning myself for this year. Most nerds of all genders also. Yeah. There are some songs out there, and I've said this before. There are some songs out there you can play like the first 3-4 chords of it, and you know exactly what it is. Like you ain't got to play the whole song. You ain't even got to play the first, line of it. You could just play the first 3-4 notes of it and know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Apparently that was Darth Vader, and I still just don't care.
And there's some things that you don't even got to watch or be interested in. It's part of your, is it like cultural type thing? You just know it.
Because it's so much of a social thing. Yeah.
Change it up a little bit. Theas, tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey, so you can find me at Our United Core, 3 separate words. So if you need help finding it, just do hashtag Our United Core as all together, and that'll get you somewhere. But Instagram coming soon, TikTok coming soon, membership site coming soon, a little bit later. I'll start rolling out a few things here in the next couple weeks.
Anna?
I'm still at BoreliaEtc.com. I'm kind of laughing at myself because I was going to change the logo, which I do have a new one, and I can't figure out how to change the... Yeah.
We got a whole year. Don't even worry about it. Tracy?
TracyMediaLLC.com.
Everybody, if you haven't seen the note on there, Radical Truth to Power is now on TikTok, dropping videos already. I appreciate everybody to go on there and just take a little look over there. We're already getting likes and views. So I appreciate it. Get the word out as quick as you can. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for the night. I appreciate Theas. I appreciate Anna. I appreciate Tracy. And until next time, we will see you when we see you.
So I think Don Jr. will be Trump's running mate and that will be the perfect ticket.
Don